Hello, I'm Mercury, and welcome to the Phantasticus project. The first part of the Phantasticus project that we'll be focusing on is the making of the map. Maps are not a really common thing to start with, but I feel like that they are very important, and they help ground a world and what you could possibly do with it. An easy way to make the map is through the use of rice, since it's more random and make things seem more natural. It also helps with all the little details that maps have. Sadly, I do end up messing up the map, which you'll see how I did so later on in the video. Until this point, however, I'd like to talk about a bit of the purpose of the Phantasticus project. Phantasticus is a high fantasy world involving tons of different environments, stories, and characters. It's supposed to show off the beauty of our world through fantastical means. It's also just supposed to be a fun project for myself so I can have more story opportunities and I can do my number one favorite thing of making character and creature designs, which I cannot wait to talk about in future videos and I'm getting a little impatient for, so this is why this video is a little rushed seeming. Also because of my limited resources, like the fact that I do not have a microphone. So sorry about the audio. The Phantasticus project also serves to a mean to interact with my community. While yes, at the moment quite small, it's still a way for me to interact with all of you. Which is why I'm willing to take suggestions on many things, and why every single species that I end up making for the Phantasticus project is an open species that you can make your own characters for. And maybe, who knows, I might add them into the actual Phantasticus world if you would like that. If you're wondering, an easier way to reach me would be through my DeviantArt or Discord, both are linked in my description. Now this is the point where the problem really started to show itself. There were two things that happened. This was just an annoyance, not what ended up ruining this map in particular. Depending on the type of paper, some liner pens need to dry a second before you put your hand or something over them again, or else they'll smear and smudge and all of that stuff. This paper I used was very sheer and smooth, and my liner pens didn't like that much. However, this doesn't become a problem until a bit later. The lining of the actual map was almost not affected at all. It was a few of the outside decorations. And since as the Phantasticus project goes on, we're going to be decorating this map, it just would get annoying and be in the way, but is overall not the final reason why I decided to scrap this map. However, the biggest problem I had to face was the fact that I couldn't fully get rid of this map, because I already used the map in the places that I've created with this map on a few other projects that would just be a waste of time to scrap, especially since I've got some lovable characters that I made with this project, and it just wouldn't feel the same changing the key details that this map added to. Speaking of the reason why I decided to keep the base of this map is the thing that ruined it all, the cursed bean. Now, well, this bean wasn't the thing that ruined it, it was the main tool to the thing that ruined it. The idea that ruined it all, countries. As you can see, the bean was supposed to be like the capital of the country, then I put rice around it to be around the country, but as most people would know going into making a map, that rivers, lakes, and mountains are the things that divide countries, not some random thing decided by a bean and rice. But yet I decided, you know what, I'll just line it with marker that cannot be erased and just add mountains and rivers and stuff later as we go. It would never turn out that well. I don't know why I thought this, but this was the thing that ruined it all. But that's okay, because I improved it on better paper too, so I don't have to deal with either of the annoying things. I felt like it would be important to bring up why the map that I do end up making is just me tracing another map. So that's why, because I failed so horribly wrong. And no, I'm not showing all the different bean things, I just want to make it clear. I don't know why I do this to myself. So that's it, here it is, the original map that I destroyed, and it doesn't look bad, but oh, is that gonna be annoying in the future? Now it's time to move on to the trial and tribulations of this map. Now you may be wondering, why is a piece of pink paper hanging in my window? Well, that's simply because I'm a very picky person and there was not a single piece of paper that I enjoyed. However, since how this paper was stored on the shelf in the store we got it from, I could see how it would look sun-bleached, and I decided that would look much better for a map. So now welcome back, folks, where the fates tell me once again how much they hate me. Now look at this wonderful, almost fully sun-bleached piece of paper. It looks great. Oh wait! There's the original paper I was looking for that Mom said we threw away because the dogs chewed it. Apparently they did chew it a little bit, but we kept the paper and it was just lost to time. But hey, she found it. Other than a little bit on the end, it's perfectly fine. And one reason why I wanted paper that was in a scroll format, because then it could just roll perfectly on its own as a map. And even though it's going to make working with it much harder, I'm going to have to make sure that it stays down. But the satisfaction, am I right, of just setting it down and it just rolls perfectly. Oh, how it fills my heart with joy and satisfaction. Besides garlic bread and strawberry shortcake, this is the only thing my little asexual heart needs. Now here, just in, me potentially messing up everything once more. 1, I messed up the video because of my hair. 2, I decided to be ambitious and just go with my liner pen instead of penciling it. Because I'm going to use the liner pen anyway. Might as well just do it now because I'm tracing over it. Nothing too bad happens, luckily, and really luckily with my luck. It's just, I did mess up a little things that I wish were more to the original map because I couldn't properly see. But, you know, it's whatever. It turned out pretty okay, and oh, that part. I forgot about that part. Context on the original map, this little shape that kind of looked like a dragon had a little dragon claw, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to change the direction of the claw so that it's facing like it's grabbing this little island out in the distance over there. And it doesn't turn out horrible, but I mean, look at it. I could have took 2 seconds to pencil sketch a random dumb little thing, but no, I had to just go for the flow. Why do I do this to myself? Other than that, this map turns out pretty well, other than it's a little rounder and smoother than the original, which it's okay. Now it's time for one of the parts that I feared the most when making this map. Writing the name, which doesn't sound that hard, but when you're a perfectionist like me and everything just looks slightly crooked because I cannot draw in a straight line to save my life unless I rulered it out, which I didn't. I did it on the original, but I didn't on this one. I don't know why. The name. A's. I hate A's. I don't draw them with their little hat tail things usually because I hate them, but I feel like they deserve the little hats, but I hate them, and oh, I don't know why I can't do an A. See, look at that. Oh, yeah. Time to start over. Halfway. Oh, no. Something I've noticed about the audio, other than its terrible quality, is the fact that whenever I'm upset for something, my voice gains a southern accent for some reason. I don't know why, I don't know how, it just does, and it's happened twice. And in this video, I've only gotten upset twice. I don't know what's going on, don't ask. So, a little fact about me, I've never liked my handwriting. A lot of people like my handwriting, or at least don't hate it. At least the people that I know in person, or they're not mean enough to tell me that it sucks, even though I'll be fully out and open that I hate it. It doesn't look awful. I've been trying to practice my calligraphy, which you can see it's not working the best. but it's working. I don't hate how the title ended up turning out, even though I have such disdain for it that it gave me a southern accent. Another fact to me that I was heavily into symbology, and I still am. I'm heavily into symbology now because I am a writer, but before I was just into symbology because it's cool and I could tell a kid that I disliked them through a means of a butterfly. It was great. So I wanted to have Phantasticus have this little symbol thing. So one, it's just a little pretty little thing, and because obscurity has its symbol being roses, so I decided, what does Phantasticus represent to me, and how can I include that in a little symbol? As I've said before, Phantasticus has a big part in the natural beauty of our world, and a part of the natural beauty is all the many changes that it goes through. And well, the most common representative of a change is the butterfly, for obvious reasons. And the butterfly personally was a good pick because it means a lot to me personally, because of its ties to mental health. Another reason why the butterfly is also a common symbol in obscurity, but not as common as the roses. And if I were to ever animate a little short thing previewing characters of Phantasticus, the butterfly would be a great way to transition different scenes. So everything just works out. As I was lining the butterfly's wings, I kind of messed up a bit. As you can see, those two bottom wing things look very not even and odd. So I just decided to color it in black and fix it all. So, things worked out and it's okay as long as everything is okay. Now I decided to add a little dots around because I love little dots. I first penciled it to make sure that I did like the little dots, which I did. And I don't know, little dots just add character. Are they sometimes annoying and tedious? Yes, but I love them dearly. And here we are to something that I was worried about because I hated it on the last map. It's also where the smudging thing was an actual problem because I smeared it on the original map. But hey, now I get to redo it. I get to deal with this torment again. If it wasn't obvious, things don't like me in the real world. One reason I hated drawing these compass things is the feel I needed it to be perfect. I felt like this needed to be a perfect circle. I needed to feel like this lines were perfectly even, but I didn't want to get a darn freaking ruler, which would I have a compass. I own a compass. I own a protractor. I own many rulers. I don't know why. I just decide that they are above me some days and just decide to torment myself mentally as I draw these things. Did it turn out looking good and okay? Yes, it did. But that doesn't mean I was having a mental anxiety attack the entire thing of drawing it, because my brain is like, that's not good enough, that's not perfect enough, and I just had to deal with it. And I'm glad I did deal with it. It was fine, and then having a ruler would just be tedious and annoying, and I don't have to deal with that now. Thank goodness. But would it have saved me a bit of mental hassle? Yes, it would have, but that's okay, 'cause it looked good in the end, so I'm happy, and I'm just, yeah. With all that said, other than finish lining this compass and drawing a few more butterflies around the compass, that's pretty much all that's gonna happen. So, without further ado, the base of the map has finally been completed. Thanks for watching the first episode of the Phantasticus project. And don't worry, the next episodes are going to be way more entertaining than this one. This is just supposed to get the basis down. After all, in the next video, we'll start digging in depth into this map, as well as you'll get your first character introduced. Just want to add that in the future, there'll be more than one concept, and then you guys will vote down in the comments which place you want to explore next. Well, that's all for now. Goodbye.